good. I'm gonna go check the shop.
All right, we're gonna do about 30 minutes, and then we're gonna take him home. So I don't know.
How about time I get all the way to the
He might still be here. Maybe not.
That should be good.
Check, 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 check. Uptown Fitness, 5 miles long. Holy do da day.
All right. So here we go with the Jeff Dubay Show, the all-new Jeff Dubay Show. Go ahead and hit record over there. This is week number 2. This is the 18th, week of November 18th.
My bad.
Week of November 18th, episode number 2.
Let's start it over. Every fucking time I do that, I gotta click the button to get.
2 weeks in a row.
All right, we should be good. Hang on. You ready?
Hello, hello, hello.
And we're off and running.
Well, we'll see. Check, check, check,
Yeah,
check,
look at
check,
me.
check.
Look at me. I know what I'm doing.
All right, check, check. All right, here we go. It's the Jeff Dubay Show with Jason Linse, week number 2. Again, for folks who are new to this, so are we. This is our second week. This show is available on 3 platforms. That would be YouTube Live, which you're watching us on now. I mean, not YouTube Live. Let me start that
Facebook
over.
Live.
Facebook Live.
Got it.
Facebook Live, where I believe appears for 24 hours. But then it's also on my YouTube channel. Just go to Jeff Dubay on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. If you just want the audio podcast version, Spreaker.com. Or if you just want an easy way to find, if you want, yeah, you can do that too. If you want an easy way to just find all of them in one place, just go to my Facebook page, which you're on right now, or my Twitter account, where there will be links posted to each. So here we go with week number 2 in 3, 2, and 1. Hey, welcome back to week number 2. It's the Jeff Dubay Show, the all-new Jeff Dubay Show with Jason Linse.
Brand new.
Big week of football. Yeah, did you see up when I made your name bigger on the logo now? Are you happy?
did?
Are you happy?
Oh.
You didn't even see?
No.
I did a lot of work on that.
I figured you'd make it smaller.
No, I made it bigger so everybody can see with Jason Linse. We did all new graphics, show graphics for the page.
Yeah.
Facebook, you can find us on Facebook on my page, the Jeff Dubay. My home page is what's it called, news feed, whatever on Facebook.
Sure.
I'm not down with the lingo, but whatever it's called. But we got a lot to talk about. It's more important than what my Facebook page looks like or how big his name is in the logo. We're going to start with the Vikings this week, just to be positive. Because yesterday, intriguing game. Big weekend of football. Gophers in Iowa, excuse me, and then, of course, Vikings with the win over the Denver Broncos. We're going to start with the Viking win over Denver. First half, one of the worst halves of football I've ever seen. Breakdowns at every level.
Fumbles.
The execution was ridiculous. The game plan was horrible. They didn't
carved up by a rookie.
I'm talking about offensively too. They didn't throw a ball more than 5 yards down the field until they were down by 17, maybe 20. Just dink dunk. 3 and out, just without even making an attempt.
Almost none of it could be attributed to Cousins' poor play. He didn't play great, but...
Well, I don't think they gave him a chance.
Right.
And Zimmer, I think, has to take some heat because his team just wasn't prepared to play, and that is the head coach's job, and they obviously were not prepared for it. Obviously, they did a nice job with some halftime adjustments and some halftime attitude adjustments, which are probably more important than the X's and O's adjustments.
What do you think he said at halftime?
I'm sure that he tore him a new one. I'm sure he must have gotten on Kubiak and Stefanski a little bit too. And they had to open it up. When you're down 20 to nothing, you have to open it up.
The game plan had to change.
The game plan was so awful. And I tell you what, I don't think it's an unusual thing in the NFL to see a heavy home favorite come out conservative against an underdog like that. I think it's a horrible strategy. I think you want to give an underdog a chance, you let them hang around for a while.
Yeah.
When you're playing an inferior opponent, especially at home, just be aggressive early and get up on them, and they will quit. Yeah. The Denver Broncos are 3-7.
But they are a good defense, though, Jeff.
No,
they are. They actually. Do you think they're better? They're a better defense than the Vikings defense.
The Vikings defense is not playing well right now, but I would take the Vikings personnel over Denver's.
Okay.
But to me, if you jump, they come in here 3-6, and they're going to be a little deflated. Denver is because they've lost some close games, and they're probably out of the playoff race. Well, they are out of the playoff race. So you get up on them, 10-0, 14-0. There's going to be some quit. There's going to be some quit. You be aggressive early against an underdog, and you can take them out. And the Vikings were the absolute opposite. Now, there was some bad luck. I don't want to say bad luck. Maybe bad luck and just some plays that just didn't go their way yesterday. With the
it was a perfect storm of
well,
suck.
I mean, it was. I mean,
Perfect storm of suck.
they hit 2 deep balls that were perfectly covered. One thrown by Allen, the other thrown by Sutton, the
They
wide
made
receiver.
good grabs.
These were good, well-covered plays.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Rhodes was right there on
Right.
one, Wayne's right there on
Right.
another. And the 4th and 1 touchdown run, the most bogus touchdown run. Now, it was a touchdown. Don't get me wrong. The refs didn't screw this up. But this fullback who powered his way across.
Yeah.
How many times, like if you go back and watch this,
That
watch
was a
it,
second effort
well,
touchdown, right?
well, yeah, you could call it that. But this guy wasn't ever down because he didn't hit the ground, but he was tackled. His weight was completely off of his feet, 100% off of his feet, 2 or 3 times. But he continued to land on people.
Yeah.
He's the luckiest SOB. It's
Yeah,
the luckiest. It's the luckiest touchdown I've
His
ever
knee
seen.
would have hit the ground if it didn't hit somebody's leg.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was tackled 3 or 4 times, but he kept landing on
would've been
people.
great
It was
stuff.
unbelievable. He just
Yeah.
kept landing on people, which allowed him to kind of slither forward. I mean, it's people would sit there and say, "Oh, what a great effort, second
Yeah.
effort, third." He was just lucky. He just kept landing on people.
Jeff, do you think, or what did you think at 20-0 at half?
Well, you know what? I thought if they scored right away to start the 3rd quarter, they'd have a chance.
Yeah,
and
so
here's what infuriated me. They perfect right down the field. Finds Irv Smith, and by the way, some guys are really stepping up in this passing game. Irv Smith, B.C. Johnson, Kyle Rudolph, the reemergence of Kyle
Yes.
Rudolph. It's nice to see some guys stepping up, and we'll get to Kirk Cousins here too at some point because I think he's been fantastic for a month and a half and deserves credit. But they go right down the field, they score, they get a 3 and out, and you jump off sides on the punt. Are you kidding me? I mean, you captured all the momentum.
Who was it? What was the guy? Wilson.
Yeah, the linebacker, number 50. I mean, they get a 3 and out, and they got all the momentum in the world. They're about to get the ball back.
That was
Unbelievable.
a buzzkill.
And then they go down the field and get 3 points. They're only 3 points and a half, by the way. But I mean, it could have been enough. It could have been enough to wind up not just costing momentum, but potentially the game. Had the Broncos not missed
That's
another
right.
field goal later.
We go down, we score.
Yes,
And then we 3 and out them,
3 and out.
and then the offsides. That's right. I remember. Okay, I'm reflecting
Okay.
back.
Yeah, it was. And had the Broncos not missed a very makeable 4th quarter field goal, they would have only needed a field goal at the end.
Yes.
So things. And now granted, you knew they needed a touchdown to win, so you do defend differently. I mean, you're trying to keep everything in front of you. They would have gone right had they only been down by 1 point there. If it had been 27-26. The Vikings defense, their philosophy would have been different. They would have been up and playing a little tighter press coverage.
Sure.
They wouldn't have been in this, keep everything in front of you mode. So, I mean, things would have definitely changed. But still, it's easier to drive for a game-winning field goal than a game-winning touchdown. So that was a big miss by the Denver Kickers.
So what
is McManus?
I don't know. Yeah,
Whatever his name
but
was.
I called it. Well,
You called what?
Well, I said with my buddy Mark watching. I said he's due to miss.
Yeah.
And
He's really, yeah.
Thankfully, he missed it.
And he's a good kicker, having a good
So,
year.
what would you call it a lucky win?
No, I wouldn't say lucky. I mean, they did everything right. Now, when you fall behind 20-0, you eliminate any margin for error that you otherwise might have had.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the stat, right?
Such as
in the last 5 years.
offsides and a punt.
Well, yeah, I guess they didn't eliminate all error. They left themselves the
Right.
slimmest margin of error. They still did make a mistake, but they scored every time they had the ball.
Yeah.
They had 4 possessions, 4
Yes,
touchdowns.
correct.
The only thing they didn't do well offensively was convert on the 2-point conversion. But the fact that you're down 20-0 at halftime, and in the last 5 years, they put this graphic up, and I'm seeing it all over the place on Facebook today, and it's a hilarious graphic. In the last 5 years, teams that trail by 20 or more at the half in the NFL are 0-99.
Yeah.
I mean, not anymore. Now they're 1-99.
Yeah.
But how about the fact that it gets to a 99-game losing
Yeah.
streak for such teams and such statistical
1 in 100.
mayhem?
1 in 100.
Literally now the Vikings proved it's a 1 in 100 at proposition. But Cousins was just about flawless in the second half. The play calling was fantastic in the second half. I love plays, and you can always tell when the Vikings have called something downfield. Well, you can tell when anybody calls something downfield based on the length of drop that the quarterback takes. If it's 7 steps, 9 steps, he's going downfield. And typically the Vikings do it on a play action, and quite often it's a play action rollout, what you call a waggle, QB waggle. And when the Vikings do that, really good things happen. And they scored 2 touchdowns on it yesterday with a little play action, and you get Cousins out of the pocket.
All he needs is time.
And right away, whenever they do this, whenever he rolls out like that, my first thought is, okay, just take your time because there's nobody near you. I mean, when they get him out of the pocket, he's got all day.
He's got 4 or 5
and I mean, it's going to be hard for somebody to stay with Diggs as long as they needed to on that touchdown. And sure enough, he made a perfect throw. And Cousins does throw a phenomenal deep ball.
Oh yeah. How bad
Great.
is Thielen missed, by the way?
Terribly. But again, people have started to step up, and Cousins has started to adapt a comfort level with guys. I mean, B.C. Johnson can play. Irv Smith, we knew could play. I mean, he was a second-round draft pick, and we've seen him at Alabama. We knew what he's capable of. But Irv Smith has really stepped up, and he's a guy that Cousins is looking to on third downs. He's looking to him in the red zone, looking to him in clutch situations. So, I mean, there are some. These things could pay some dividends down the road. I mean, the fact that you lost Thielen and you've been without him for a few weeks hasn't been pleasant. Well, and you certainly missed him in Kansas City after he left after that touchdown. That potentially might have cost you a game. But the plus side is when he comes back, now you've got some guys who have stepped up and can get it done. Now you've got more facets to the offense.
Do we know, will we see a healthy Thielen after the bye?
I don't know. Hopefully Thielen and Joseph. I mean, they definitely missed Linval Joseph too.
Yeah.
Although Jaleel Johnson played a pretty strong game. The former Iowa Hawkeye may be buoyed by his squad's success the day before, which we're about to get to. Well, we do, but it's not. To me, there's no defeatist here. And I'm not trying to be, glasses half full or a moral victory kind of a guy, because the Gophers have proven to me in the last 2 weeks that they're good enough to play with teams. Because I think they've outplayed 2 ranked opponents in a row and just made too many mistakes to get it done Saturday. But we'll get to that momentarily. But back to the Vikings. I'm really concerned about the defense, especially the pass defense.
Yes.
I thought Rhodes and Waynes both acquitted themselves pretty well. I mean, the plays that were getting made on them, they were right there.
You don't think Rhodes had plenty of? He got burned plays. You don't think he got beat several times? And you don't think
but
compared to 2 years ago, he looks like he's a little slower?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's not at the top of his game, and whether he's on the downside or
how old is he? Is he even 30?
He's not that old. Yeah, but he's always had trouble staying healthy. So I mean, the tread might be coming off the tire a little bit, but he's not that old. I don't know how healthy he is. I don't know if he's completely healthy, but I mean, he's always. I mean, we see him hobble off the field a couple times a game. It seems like. But he's not. Well, again, whether or not he's just dinged up and not playing as well as he's capable, or if he's just maybe just a little bit past his prime, he's not the same player he was a year or two ago. I still think he's above average. And I think Trey Waynes is really coming.
You don't think he's a liability?
No. And and Mackenzie Alexander and Mike Hughes, these guys are playing well. But I tell you what.
So what is the problem? Because they're giving up yards.
They are. And you know what? The pass rush hasn't been as good lately as we're accustomed to seeing.
Good point.
It hasn't been. I know we love Everson Griffin and we love Daniil Hunter. They're both dynamic players, but they haven't been making the impact. And when the Vikings have been making an impact with pass rush, it's been well-timed blitzes and well-executed blitzes. Yes. They love bringing Dirty Harry whenever they can, and it's typically
effective. Seeing that, don't you?
I tell you what, the play yesterday where he got a good lick on the quarterback on third down, helped force an incomplete pass and a lack of a third down conversion. You could see Allen was at the line of scrimmage. He sees Harrison Smith right there, which is going to put panic into most quarterbacks. They're going to have to realize, okay, there's something we're going to have to do here. We're going to have to check out of something. We're going to have to do something different. And he's audibling. He's yelling whatever, Omaha, whatever they yell these days. And Harrison Smith is to the quarterback's right, so he's not coming from the blind side. He's coming from the other side. But nonetheless, I mean, Allen gets up at the line of scrimmage. He sees him. He's screaming to everybody. He's pointing directly at Harrison Smith, pointing right at him. And sure enough, whoever was on the edge there, the edge blocker, just let him go. He just let Harrison Smith go. And Allen got lit up cleanly and legally. He got rid of the ball, but it was still an incomplete pass. But I mean, I would have loved to have been on the sideline. When they get over to the sideline, Brandon Allen's like, dude, I spent 20 seconds yelling and pointing at this guy. What the hell are you doing? I mean, seriously.
Maybe it was too loud.
It was unbelievable. I mean, there's an edge blocker there specifically for the blitz, and he just let him go. I mean, I would have loved to hear Brandon Allen just go, bro. What the hell?
A little help.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, did we not spend enough time with me yelling and pointing at Harrison Smith for you to understand? Block that guy? Yeah. I mean, it was almost like a Peyton Manning.
What does he got to do next time? Hey, number 22. Yeah.
It was almost like a Peyton Manning Saturday Night Live moment, like yelling at the little kids. Bro, pink, who's got pink? It was a bizarre moment from that.
Well, before we get too far into this, Jeff, let's talk Uptown Fitness quick.
Yes, please do. As you can see behind us.
That's our mural. So Uptown Fitness, 1207 Lagoon Avenue, right in the heart of Uptown, right down from the Lagoon Theater, if you know where that is. Cub Foods is a 100-yard sand wedge away. It's a small group training studio. So if you're listening out there, if you're in the market for a personal trainer, a coach, as we call them, but you aren't in the market to spend $1,000 a month working one-on-one with a trainer, then Uptown Fitness is your answer. It's cost sharing in small group setting. You get the same results as one-on-one, the same basic attention as one-on-one, but you do it for a fraction of the price. So check out uptownfitnessmn.com. Check out our Facebook page. Jeff will probably tag it if he can.
Yep.
And follow us on Facebook. The first session is free.
Yeah. What if they come in here and say, hey, we saw the podcast? What are you going to do for them?
Well, same things, everybody. I can't really do.
Sorry.
Well,
Sorry.
I know, but it's a good question. It all starts. We'll give you a bottle of water. No, it all starts with a free session anyway, so it's no obligation. We actually want to put you through a session. That one's one-on-one, and you can see the workouts we do. You can see the gym and meet some of the staff, and then you can decide at that point if you want to become a member, which most people do because it's so darn affordable. Actually, finally in your life, get personal training for a fraction of what you pay one-on-one. So, uptownfitnessmn.com.
Just want to make sure we don't have we got the camera set up there properly. I hope we do. God, I hope we do. Wouldn't that suck if we just did like 15 minutes and you couldn't even see us because of the camera?
Yeah.
But
Jeff, with you, it wouldn't surprise.
So the Vikings are 8-3. I was reading some tiebreaker
That's a
stuff.
good record.
It is, but over the weekend I was reading some stuff. I mean, if they don't win out there, it's going to be hard for them to win the division. It's going to be really hard.
You don't think the Packers are going to drop a game or
The
two?
Packers are going to lose to. Oh, well, I shouldn't even say that. I was going to say that the Packers are going to lose to the Niners this week, but I don't know if that's true. The Niners.
Maybe not.
I think the Niners are kind of starting to be exposed for what they are. A decent team, not a great team. Having said
It
that,
is in San Francisco.
It is in San Francisco.
Or San Jose.
I still think the Packers have a pretty good chance in that game. Santa Clara.
Santa Clara.
Levi's Stadium.
Yes.
So anyway, Green Bay. Let's say they lose. Let's go hypothetical. Let's say they lose. Each team will be 8-3 through 11, and it'll be on because they still got to come here. But the Vikings also have a game at Seattle. They also have a game at San Diego. And when you look at Green Bay's schedule, after that San Francisco game, they've got nothing other than the Vikings road game. I mean, they've got nothing but NFC
If we
North
beat
games.
them, it's the second to last game we play them, right?
Yeah, then after the 23rd, I believe it's Christmas Eve.
But then we get in the tiebreakers if we end up tied, right? Then
Well, but yeah, that's the problem. If we beat them, we wipe out the head-to-head tiebreaker. Then it gets into record versus common opponents and records in the division, and we need some help. We need some help in those two tiebreakers. So really, the Vikings they're very unlikely to win a tiebreaker against Green Bay. It's not impossible, but it's unlikely. So what the Vikings need to do to just make sure they take care of business is finish your game ahead of Green Bay. And when you look at the schedules, I think the only way that happens is if the Vikings win out.
they win out.
I think they're going to have to win out, and that would mean winning at Seattle and at San Diego, which is not going to be easy, but it's possible. I also looked on ESPN today, the playoff predictor. They have the Vikings as a 92% chance of making the playoffs, but probably as a wild card. But a 92% chance of making the playoffs is pretty strong.
The thing with the NFL, Jeff, is it is, with rare exception, it is hard to go deep unless you're a 1 or 2 seed.
It is. The Packers did it as a wild card.
Because if you don't win the division, you're 5 or 6.
Right.
You're 5 or 6.
Right.
And even a 3 or 4 seed is challenging.
Yeah,
but 5 and 6, it's like you're so up against. You're never playing a home game.
No. If you're a wild card, you're going to be on the board for 3 games,
Yeah.
almost without exception, unless the other wild card team has a worse record than you and they pull 2 upsets.
Correct.
That's the only way you could.
That's almost never happens. So.
Yeah, very rare indeed. But let's switch gears. Gopher football loses 23-19.
Before we do that, Kirk Cousins. Give some Kirk Cousins love.
Well, and I'll admit that I still have reservations, just based on last year, based on his entire career resume, in big games and the prime time and the winning record, opponents and all that stuff. I mean, that stuff doesn't just get washed away after a month and a half of good performances. But after the Chicago game, I was convinced that we were just stuck with dead weight at quarterback, and we were just going to have to try to get through the next year and a half with it. Since then, he's probably been the best quarterback in the league. I mean, Lamar Jackson's been fantastic. Russell Wilson's been
Basically
fantastic.
since the apology segment.
But
right?
the ridiculous apology. But nonetheless, he's. I mean, in the last 5-6 games, he's been statistically as good as anybody in the league. Even gotten into, we crept into some MVP conversations. Although I think guys like Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson are a little clear at this point, a little clear of him. But nonetheless, he's one of the top-rated passers in the league. I believe the top-rated passer over the last 6 games. He's kind of mediocre against Kansas City, but he certainly was not the reason they lost that game. That was about defensive failures.
He hasn't thrown an interception in I don't know how long.
Well, and here's where I'm going to give him. A lot of props too. The last 2 weeks, they were coming off a loss to Kansas City.
Yeah.
They were 6-3. They still had a tough road game coming up at Dallas. The season could have gone the wrong way at that point. And going to that Dallas game, I'm thinking, road game, prime time,
Right.
winning opponent with a winning record. This is not Kirk Cousins' wheelhouse, and he won that game, and they won that game, and he looked very good, and I think he overcame some bad situations that his defense.
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I mean the defense did not do him any favors that week, and they didn't do him any favors in the first half against Denver, and he, not by himself, but largely due to him, the Vikings were able to come back in the second half. So I mean he's starting to exercise some demons. He's starting to put some things to bed in terms of he can't win the big game, or he can't put a team on his back, because he did kind of put the team on his back yesterday after being put in a giant hole. So I mean
he was perfect in that second half.
Yeah,
and like I said, I didn't think he played bad the first. They didn't give him any time. He was up against it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
Kirk Cousins looks like, boy, have things changed. He looks like $84 million was worth it. But we weren't probably singing that tune after the Chicago game, were we?
Right. And we all have to eat our words a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, he hadn't given us any reason to believe.
Did you ever go on Twitter or anything and say, he's done, that was stupid, let's move on?
No.
Did you ever come close?
No, I probably have it on Facebook. I'd have to go back and look at my Facebook. I'd given up on him after the Chicago game. I
texted Carter Zimmer yesterday to you.
Yeah, you did. And did you see yesterday at halftime? I texted to a friend of mine, come back in here coming up.
Yeah.
At halftime,
Yeah.
1:31 p.m.
Yeah.
It's documented. It's right. I was half serious, but nonetheless, I'll take credit for it as a great football mind.
Sure.
Last 10 minutes of the show here. Switch gears to Gopher football. I'm not trying to be a Gopher apologist here, and I'm not a moral victory guy. I think they all played Iowa. I thought they were the better team. I'm not terribly alarmed by the loss.
Slow start.
The slow start was awful. Nonetheless, if Tyler Johnson holds on to it, just a pass, a simple little slant route down at the 3-4 yard line, it's probably a touchdown, and I think they probably wanted to win the game from that point. Also, if you have a little more proficiency in the kicking game, I mean they lost by 4, they missed a field goal and an extra point. There's your 4 points. So I mean they had to do a lot of things wrong.
By 5.
It was 23-19. And by the way, if you had the Gophers,
right.
getting the 3.5. My heart goes out to you. That's the definition of a bad beat. It's 23-19. I mean, it's 23-13. They get the touchdown to make it 23-19. And they come on to kick an extra point that's going to make it 23-20 and get you under that 3.5 and put you in the money if you got the Gophers getting the 3.5.
Yeah.
And if you know that Iowa's not going to try to score again. Even if they get stopped, the Gophers get the ball and they try to score. It's just at that point when they're trotting on the field to kick an extra point, you're counting your money. If you have to go first in the 3.5, you're counting your money.
Yeah, you get the ticket out.
Yeah, miss the extra point and you lose by half point. That is a bad beat. That is the definition of a bad beat.
So Jeff, to what you said, not an apologist. So okay, here, not a traumatic loss.
Right.
It's a ranked team. All three of their losses were against good teams. Iowa's a good team. They might be a little bit of a bad offense. They can't really score a lot of points, but their defense is as good as any in college football, right?
Yeah.
And
great defense.
And
pretty frustrating to give up 3 touchdowns.
And to lose there, if you go to Northwestern and win, like you should do, right?
Yep.
And that could be with or without Tanner Morgan.
Yep.
I want to ask your thoughts on that in a second.
Well.
And then at that point, you're playing at home against Wisconsin to retain the axe.
Yeah.
And
go to
for
the Big Ten championship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you see that? Do you see how that's going to play out?
Well, I mean, technically, you could argue that the Northwestern game doesn't have a ton of meaning. Now, it does if you plan on. You go to the Big Ten championship game. If you lose to Northwestern, beat Wisconsin, you go. You still go. So the Northwestern game isn't do or die in that regard. However, I believe if you lose that game and go to the Big Ten championship game and lose, that you can and probably would be passed over for the Rose Bowl.
Sure.
I'm not positive about that, but I believe
you can't
that.
lose to
I believe that Penn State was
That's
probably
a ratty squad.
Well, and I would like to think. And I don't.
Without Tanner Morgan, you can.
Well, and I know nothing about Tanner Morgan's situation. He didn't look like he was hurt that badly. He, got off the field under his own power.
Concussed, I thought.
Is that what it was?
Well, I don't know if you know for sure, but I think it might be.
I haven't read much. I mean, it's
Monday.
Monday.
College football, they don't have to say much.
Well, that's the thing. College football, they keep it under wraps. They're not.
If he's concussed, he's not playing.
Well, it depends. I mean, he's got to go through protocols or whatever. But yeah, it's Monday as we're doing this taping, so information will come available later in the week that we will not.
I'm sure you'll share it with us when you know.
Well, I mean, we can put it on social media, but we're not going to do another show. This is the Tanner Morgan Update Special Podcast. We're not going to do that. But you should beat Northwestern. even with Cole Kramer or Jacob Clark, I think you should be able to. If you know you got to play a backup, you can get them coached up all week long, and you're going to win with.
How bad are they?
games.
Because they're not. I don't know anyone at Northwestern. Have they won any games? Do they have any talent? Is there anything we should be worried about?
Well, I didn't think they were going to be terrible. I thought they were going to be mediocre, and like finishing the top 3 in the West. I'm surprised that they are 0-7 in the conference. I didn't expect to see that. That's a little bit of a shock to me. But they were competitive early on the road at Stanford. They had a non-conference game at Stanford where they didn't look terrible and they had a chance to win. But Stanford's nothing special. They've been awful since the Big Ten season started. They're awful, and I'd be stunned and really extremely disappointed if the Gophers had trouble.
When is that game, Jeff? Do you know?
11 a.m. Saturday.
All right.
And
They
it's
gotta
on.
win.
I believe it's on ABC.
They got to win. They got to win big.
Well, again, if they do lose, they still play Wisconsin for a trip to for the Big.
Yeah,
for
but
the Big Ten West.
we want Rose Bowl. We want Rose Bowl.
We do.
One loss Rose Bowl.
We do. Yep, we can. And that Wisconsin game is going to be phenomenal. The Gophers. To me, that's going to be a game that's going to have like a point and a half spread in either direction. It's going to be
nuts.
Yeah, it is. It's going to. And I was looking online. Tickets at some of these ticket brokers are already anywhere from $150 up to low threes for like really good seats. So it's
Will that be a
that's
prime
gonna be sold
time?
out.
Do we know? Is it
They have
TBD?
not. They haven't set the time for that. They have not set the game time for that yet. But I would assume. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it'll be a game. Well, here's the other thing. If the Gophers win this week, and the game is for the Big Ten West title, why aren't we talking about prime time for that one?
College game day.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Game day. Why aren't we talking college game day for
We
that?
should be.
Yeah,
we will be.
And I think the main reason people are saying, well, this was going to be rivalry week. There's a lot of big games that week. Not really this year. Auburn, Alabama. Auburn's got 3 losses. Alabama doesn't have Tua. They're probably out of the playoff. Alabama's not dead, but they're probably out of the playoff. And without Tua, the luster's kind of gone there. Michigan, Ohio State, always a big deal, always a big game. But Michigan's a 2-loss team. I don't know. I would think that Wisconsin, Minnesota, 2 ranked teams, winner take all for the Big Ten West. Like Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, Ohio State will have the Big Ten East clinched before that game. So
Yes.
if you're looking at the big rivalry games around college football that weekend, and what's more important, if the Gophers beat Northwestern, I would think Minnesota, Wisconsin is worthy of.
Now you're saying Wisconsin wins next week. Also, who do they play?
I don't know.
All right. Well, let's assume that happens. I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's for the Big Ten.
Yeah, for the Big Ten West.
West.
And then again, Ohio State, Michigan won't be. It's never insignificant, but Ohio State will already be the Big Ten East champions, I believe. Well, you know what? Let me not say that. Ohio State plays Penn State this week in a huge game, and if Ohio State beats Penn State, then they're Big Ten, Big Ten East champions. And it's in Columbus. It's in the Horseshoe. Ohio State wins that game. Penn State has 2 conference losses.
Is it at the same time? Is it later? Hopefully, I can watch it.
I think it's the big noon kickoff on Fox, so that would make it the 11 o'clock game. The Gus Johnson game.
Yeah.
So if Ohio State wins that game, Penn State would have 2 losses in the Big Ten. Michigan already has 2 losses. Ohio State would be undefeated going to last week, so they can clinch the East with that win. So if Ohio State wins, again, Michigan, Ohio State's never meaningless, but it would not have any implications in terms of Big Ten and the Big
The
Ten
Axe.
championship game.
That's college game day for the Axe.
College game day for the Axe, yeah. At that point would probably be your most important game.
They passed over us a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have. They regret that
No,
one.
I don't think they regret it. I think they made the right choice.
No, I know.
Alabama. It's not that we didn't acquit ourselves well on field.
Yeah.
But it was still Alabama LSU.
Yeah.
We're talking about a school that probably sells more tickets to their spring game than we have average attendance for regular season. It's just a different animal down there.
Sure, that's
Now, so it's time to kind of put a wrap here on. This is show number 2 for the week of November 12th. No, November 18th. November 18th. November 18th of 2019. So it's a week, show number 2.
Hey,
Uptown Fitness.
Should we mention, Jeff, that we are...
I hope this worked. I have a feeling I blocked the camera. You might not be in this episode. This might just be the Jeff Dubay Show with a blacked out Jason Linse. I have a feeling you're not in the shot.
All right, that's good.
Well, I'm the good looking one. I'm the good looking one anyway.
Nobody cares about me. As long as they can hear me, no.
Well,
we are looking for to add 1 extra show per week. We've had some interest. So I just want to throw this out there.
Yeah.
A Friday on-site, a sports bar, a bowling alley.
Well, those are heavy. Those weights are heavy. I can't even pick that thing up.
And you need Uptown Fitness. If you want us to come on site, email Jason at jasonlindsay.com, and I can I can give you some information on that. It's jason@jsonlinse.com. If you have anything to add to that, just.
How much is a kilogram? Like that says
12.2
kilograms.
pounds.
That's only two. That's more than 2
No,
pounds.
that's 12 kilograms. So take that times 2.2.
Oh, so that's 24 pounds. Well, no wonder.
25 pounds.
Well, whatever. Yeah, that's whatever. All right, well, that's going to do it for week number 2.
You need to be more
Again, the show, you can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Facebook Live. You can find it on Spreaker.com. But the simplest way to do it on a week-to-week basis is go to my Facebook page, go to my Twitter account, and just find links. And I can't wait to flip the camera around and find out if Jason's even in this episode. I have a feeling that I got something that can you see the camera from where you are?
Yeah.
Oh, well then maybe you are in it. Maybe you are in it. Maybe my skills aren't as bad as I thought. But thanks everybody
Sure they are.
for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.
See you next week. Peace out.